guys. It is that glorious, heavenly time of year again. And I am planting, or transplanting, I should say, some lettuce from inside, some cabbage. My carrots and radishes seem to be taking off, finally, with the weather change. I'm also going to put some sweet peas out here. And then I'm going to keep the rest of the stuff I have going inside till another 3 weeks or so. My peppers, tomatoes, sunflowers, and some other stuff inside. I might start some corn soon inside as well, because we want to do the Three Sisters growing method that the Native Americans did, with the corn as the stalk and squash at the ground level to keep away weeds, and then the beans able to climb up the corn stalk. So we're going to do 2 or 3 of those just for fun, since we study Native Americans this year. I'm planting some wild flowers in this middle bed here, and then I want to chat with you guys about dating. My boys are 13 and about to turn 15, and I know that a lot of parents, Christian parents in particular, start to talk about what do we do with kids and phones and texting and girls at this point, and especially 15, 16, not 13 necessarily, although some do, even that young. Some of you may not like my ideas at all, and that's totally fine. Everyone has to do what they got to do for their own family and follow their own convictions and their own conscience and the wisdom that they feel the Lord is giving them through the Word and through people in your life that you admire and look up to and have seen do things a certain way. If you like what they're doing, that's between you and God. That has nothing to do with me. I'm just sharing my ideas with you, my thoughts, and maybe it'll challenge you. Maybe you'll hate them. Maybe you won't agree at all. Maybe you'll change your mind and totally agree. I don't know. But I think it's safe to say that most Christians don't agree with dating the way that the world dates, meaning having, multiple relationships that aren't really intentionally leading anywhere, going anywhere. You're just doing it for fun, for social, for, someone to have as your very own, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, someone to hold hands with, someone to talk to every day. Most Christian families that I know that are conservative don't like that model, and I would agree with them. I don't think that's helpful in any way. I think that's pretty much just teaching you how to one day get divorced. Plant your heart here, move on when you're done. Plant your heart here, move on when you're done. Plant your heart here, move on when you're done. And then, of course, needless to say, awakening love before it's time, putting yourself in a situation where temptation is going to be inevitable, and all the temptations that come with having someone that is your boyfriend or girlfriend. And then just, really probably running the risk of idolizing that, running the risk of broken heart, emotional, and then, of course, physical temptation that will lead to heartbreak and emotional and psychological pain as well. It's all combined. You can't really do one without the other. But I will say I hear a lot of Christians talking about biblical courtship, and I just don't really agree with it. I know that biblical courtship is meeting or being involved with someone with an intentional purpose to see if they are your future spouse. And that's fine and dandy, but not at 15 and 16, and I would say not at 17. I think age is not what we need to be focusing on. Culture is real, right? Culture is a real thing, and a biblical culture is very, very different than our current culture. In biblical culture, young girls were married off to much older young men, like 18, 19, and men, and they found sexual activity and immorality shameful in that culture. You were ashamed to be caught being sexually immoral in any way. Our culture is set up extremely different. We have women in school, we have women with careers and the potential for that. We have women that are free to be independent, and sexual immorality is celebrated. So to try to take something that worked in their culture with the way their family and their society was set up and try to apply it to us today in 2024 doesn't really work. 15, 16, 17-year-old boys back then were probably able to run their whole life on their own at that point in their lives. What 15-year-old can do that today? What 15-year-old has the capacity to decide, I am going to commit myself for the rest of my life to this woman? What 15-year-old is at that maturity level? What 16-year-old? What 17-year-old? What 18-year-old? We live in a different culture. I do not think a boy that age can make a decision to commit to one woman for the rest of his life. Plus, people that age are not out on their own living their own independent life yet. They don't understand the importance of providing for themselves and a whole family besides themselves. We're just set up completely different. I think that if a 15 or 16 or 17-year-old boy is given the freedom to biblically court, and have a girl in his life, it's going to guarantee awaken love before it's time. It is going to guarantee tempt them to want to be alone, touch, hold hands, go places together, talk on the phone any chance they get, text all day, stay up late talking, fantasize about each other, talk about things they shouldn't talk about, their mind be drugged through the gutter. If a man is not old enough to be 100% devoted to God, then I would say he's got no business playing around with courtship, and will probably lead to a breakup that will leave them both heartbroken and give them a nice experience in what divorce might feel like later in life. I just don't see a single shred of benefit or positive things about it. Nothing. Like, I cannot think of even one good thing that can come out of courtship for teens in our day and age. And I definitely can't think of anything good that comes out of dating. Now, when they are older, when you have a young man who's finished school, not necessarily college, but I would say for sure high school. I mean, and they have a full-time job, and you see that they're responsible, they're growing in maturity, they're devoted to the Lord, ideally. That's not a prerequisite, but we're talking about Christian families here. We're talking about how I view my family and my goals for my children. I can't control how devoted they are to God, but these are the ideal things that I would desire, which are totally out of my hands, and I know that. But ideally, I would want my children to be responsible, mature, living in a way that honors me and their father, devoted to God, mature and set in their mind that their life is going to be for the Lord before they could ever even consider loving a woman with a sacrificial love that results in faithfulness and devotion for the rest of his life. I just don't see that possible for a 15 and 16-year-old, and I don't really see any value in trying to guide them in that at 15 and 16. You can show that to them by example in your marriage, and let them grow up as a child, maturing young person, and grow into that later, and have some sort of goals that they want to accomplish before they are courting someone. At that point, I would think that they need to be ready, that when they do know, okay, this woman is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, this woman is the woman that I am going to take care of and be devoted to, respect, love, honor, and be faithful to for the rest of my life. I have a full-time job already. I have some money in my bank. I have the capacity to take care of myself. I am responsible. I am mature. I'm not acting like a little boy with money. I am a man. I would hope that that would be when courtship, for lack of if that's the word we want to use, dating with intentionality, dating in search of a spouse would be happening. And then I also would hope that they already know women that stand out to them, that they already know the kind of woman they're looking for. My boys already in their young age tell me, I don't want a sassy wife. I don't want a bossy wife, because they see the girls their age and they don't like what they see. And so it's just interesting. You already start to develop your taste for the opposite sex when you're young. You like certain traits and you dislike other traits. So letting them be around both boys and girls and grow up in circles of many kinds of friends so that they can be exposed to all the different kinds of personalities there are out there, so that they can see the things they like and don't like, and not make girls this yucky thing, but instead friends until it's appropriate. Now, there's nothing wrong with them liking girls. That's good and normal, but I never discourage that. But I have also asked the question, like, what are you going to do with it? Nothing. You can't do anything with it. Really? What could you possibly do? I like this person. Okay, you're 14. Now what? Nothing. Stay friends. Be friends. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it with other people, because those conversations have ruined friendships. I have seen it too many times. So there is a rule in our circle of friends that the kids are not allowed to go back and forth talking about who likes who and all that, because it ruins friendships. It makes people feel super, super awkward, and it really does ruin friendships. So we do have that rule, and I don't think it's legalistic or extreme. I just think it's wise. Now, if they disobey the rule, the consequences of them disobeying the rule is their consequence. Now you feel really weird around that person, don't you? This is why we try to encourage you guys to not have those conversations. Do other stuff, let life teach them. That's fine. It's not like this huge sin. We're just trying to help them. And I think they've seen it enough times, because of how awkward they have felt, because of those playing conversations make them feel that uncomfortable. So I definitely think that the Bible is not for us to look at it and say we need to live exactly like this, because we live in 2024 in America. It's not Jerusalem in 2,000 years ago, and our culture is different. Everything is different, and we can take the principles of Christian living, godly living, and apply them at any time. That's timeless. But culture's reality, it changes, and we can't try to make our families, our children, be like the children of biblical times, because the culture is not the culture of biblical times. The things that were shameful then are not shameful now. They're celebrated now. And so the temptations are beyond belief now. If a kid is dating at 16, 17, I encourage you to not be naive enough to think that they're not going to be having crazy temptations, and in some cases, in many cases, finding ways to fulfill those temptations. It's not reality. Let's wake up, parents. Let's be in the world but not of the world. I'm not saying it's easy, but one of the biggest things I can encourage any Christian family is to align yourself with other families that are going in the same direction as you. Finding families that have the same mentality as you. It's not like you're going to do everything identical to another family, but at least enough to where your children are not going to be a hindrance to each other in big ways, because these are the big things that we're going to be really different in society, and you need other people that you feel like, okay, I'm not alone. We're not the only people that don't have cell phones when we're 15. It's okay. My friend doesn't. And then as they see their friends growing up, getting cars and licenses and jobs, and even that's a whole other topic. I don't plan on my children getting jobs like at Chick-fil-A or something. I would really like either family business, or for them to get a job with a trusted acquaintance or friend who has a smaller business that they can work for them and kind of like apprentice and learn there. I don't want to throw them out into the world when they're 16. And that's just me. They're still exposed, they're still learning, they're still in the world, but I don't want to put them in a position like something like a job at Chick-fil-A. So those are just my views. I do feel like depending on where you live, these things are more attainable than other places, and that's okay. You got to do what you can do. But I will encourage you to pray. Pray, pray, pray that the Lord opens doors, because you think that you're stuck and you have to follow the trend and the same road that everybody follows, but you don't. You really don't. And the Lord can open doors and make amazing ways for you. Some things that I play around with in my mind, I can't set my children's future. I know that. I'm not going to try to. I'm going to provide opportunities for them and let them choose what they do. But we're a very business-minded family. And even if our children don't stick with the family business forever, at least in their teen years, they're going to work with us. And so then once they're old enough to, decide what the next step is for them, they can either stay working with us or take off and do whatever it is their Lord's leading them to do. That is between them and God. We can't force that. But while they're in our home and they're young, of course they're going to work with us. And I'm hopeful that they'll get a passion for it and stick with it and do family business stuff. I can't give you much details about that right now, but I'll share with you when and if things, we always have our wheels turning for entrepreneur stuff. But that's what we've always envisioned for our children, is doing something as a family when they got around this age, and growing a business together and letting them take over when they get older if they want to. No obligation, no pressure, but options. And then of course, I would love for them to, if they didn't want to do that, the Lord to just open the door with people that we respect and admire, that could be a voice into their life of encouragement, and minister to them, disciple them with some sort of smaller business, either a farm or construction or lawn work, whatever, just something small, local, and run by older Christian people that could minister to them, teach them, and just link arms with us kind of, and continue what we've started at home as they continue to grow up. But I don't want them to work like at some chain restaurant or like Lowe's or some crazy place like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I've had enough jobs to know the stuff that goes on, and I just don't think they're ready, So those are our thoughts. And while we have our children under our wings, we will slowly open, the funnel. That's wise, but not like just floodgates. Slowly open the funnel as we see fit, as the Lord guides us, and trust that He will equip us, prepare us, and prepare our children. And in the end, obviously, it's up to our children what kind of lives they lead, but we have a responsibility and we take it seriously until we have to let go completely. So those are just some thoughts I wanted to share with you guys. I definitely know that there's a lot of voices out there, but I would encourage you and your husband, you and the Lord, don't take anybody to be infallible. Like if you love like a certain family that teaches certain principles and you appreciate what they share, that's great, but don't think that everything they say is perfect, and never think there's a formula, because we will be disappointed every time if we're trying to live out a perfect formula. We're dealing with free will here. Our children are individuals, and they will make their own decisions, and they will make decisions that we don't like. They'll make mistakes. They will, do things, foolish things, and we will have to be there to catch them when they fall with the Lord, encourage them, clean them up, guide them, help them, give them wisdom and counsel, and hope and pray that that relationship stays strong to where they're open to our counsel and our guidance and our wisdom and our love. And in many, many cases, they will shut their ears to us at a certain age, for whatever, who knows? Who knows what this life will bring? We cannot think that we're smooth sailing. There's always something around the corner. And so just hanging on to the Lord first, trusting in Him for our comfort and our peace first, not thinking there's a formula that, we failed, our formula failed. No, there is no formula. Your children are individuals, and they will have to face God. All we can do is pray for them, give them the tools that the Lord has provided through wisdom, build their character, teach them, guide them, counsel them, and as they grow up, watch them fall. And hopefully those falls will not be so hard that it destroys their future, or messes with their life. But just be prepared, don't be naive, and be prepared. But whatever does come, the Lord is with us. So I hope that this is helpful in some way, challenging in some way. You know me, I love challenging. So challenging in some way. And even if you totally disagree, it's okay. Do what you got to do for your family. I'm just sharing what we're doing. And if it appeals to you, you can try it too. God bless you guys. See you next time.